All right, we are live. Hello, and welcome everyone to the Bhangology Cannabis Awareness Month Summit. I just need to take a moment and woosah because it's been a year and I'm in the cannabis industry and it is so freaking cool. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Tanya Lowe, CEO of the Renewing Extract Wellness and Bhangology, where we help people who struggle with sleep, anxiety, and pain find relief using natural remedies like our Bhangology CBD products, as well as helping them to become educated on how to use this plant. Oftentimes, I will say we're not a stoner community, but if you are, that's your business. But we do talk about not just the CBD, but really want to educate people on the wellness benefits of the entire leaf of cannabis. So what can you expect this week? You can expect to learn a lot about cannabis that you probably don't know, even if you are an adult use user. You're going to meet some amazing people during this week. You're going to have an opportunity to answer get some questions answered, and you'll have an opportunity to win some cool prizes. So if you're not registered for the event, make sure that you go to bit.ly/Bhangology Summit so that you can enter into the sweepstakes to win some amazing prizes that we'll be giving away, but you got to be registered to win, right? So why cannabis? Of all things, why cannabis? Well, I guess my question is, why not cannabis? Why not? When there's so many different business opportunities, why not? You guys may know my story. I struggled with sciatica, and I still struggle with sciatica on occasion, not as much. And people would always come to me and say, try the oil. And my response was always, I don't do drugs. But never did anyone say, wait, let me explain it to you. And then when I started really doing the research and wanting to learn about it myself, I understood what it was and what it was not. And so, which led me on the journey to where I am today, from starting out with a salve to, trying a tincture, which is what the oil is called, which actually made me sick, to learning that all CBD oils or tinctures are not created equally. And so that really started me on this journey to really educate people in my age group about this plant, regardless of where you are on the spectrum of use. But if you want to understand how to use it for wellness and how to use it to get a better quality of life, then that's what we do. So it's our anniversary month. It is night one. We're kicking off, and we've got an amazing speaker, and we've got a few people that wanted to drop in and just say a few things before we get started. So let's see, who do we have visiting with us in the waiting room? I'm going to bring somebody in. Hey, who do we have here? Hey, Mavis Jones.
Hello. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's so exciting. We had a year. Can you believe it? We made a year.
I can't believe it. I can't.
Oh, it's so awesome. It's so awesome. I am so excited. I'm congratulating us on 1 year and many more to come. This has been a great experience. And like you said, those ladies of our age, we have specific needs. And
Yes,
we were
do.
taught, in a bubble growing up, and we didn't have these options. And you either took a Tylenol and dealt with it, or go for a walk and dealt with it, and you didn't have other options. And being part of the educational process of cannabis has opened up a whole new world to us. So I want to first say thank you for inviting me as a founding member. And
Thank
also,
you.
good luck on this successful summit this week.
Great. Thank you, Mavis. Thanks for being a founding member, and thanks for being here tonight for our kickoff. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Wow, guys. So one of the other things about Bangology is we have a membership component. And so what you're going to meet some of our founding members who actually made investments. When I decided, hey, I want to create this thing, right? Before I even knew what it was or what it was going to be or what it could be, there were 40 people that said, we want to go on the ride with you. And so you get to meet some of them tonight. And so I'm going to bring up, the next person I'm going to bring up is Amy Anderson. Hey, Amy Anderson.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
So tell everybody who you are. And
Okay. I'm Amy Anderson. I'm actually on the other side of the spectrum, believe it or not. I'm a mental health and substance abuse provider. And I actually struggle with the idea of embracing cannabis because of what I do. But in actuality, I see and I'm embracing it more because I rather suggest or recommend a CBD to someone versus a Xanax. It just feels more comfortable. It may not be as socially acceptable in most states, but I'm a founding member simply because of that. I want to see where this goes, and I definitely want to be on the ride, ahead of the ride, as the journey of cannabis and CBD, expands across the nation, especially in our community.
yes.
So I'm on this ride with Bangology, especially because of the product, but more so what it can do for the consumers that we service, that serve anxiety or that even have addiction problems that could step down to some CBD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you and your husband for being founding members. We thank you.
Oh, no problem. He's passed out, by the way. He's early this morning. So,
CBD?
yeah. Actually, yes, he did take something to go to sleep because he has problems sleeping. I forgot that he rarely sleeps,
Wow.
and he'll get up at 4 a.m. and he has to take a drop of CBD oil just to get back to sleep and sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here for our opening session, and stick around.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, when we talk about this plant, I mean, there's so many things that we just were not told or we didn't know, other than, stay away from it. It's the gateway drug. And so, this is just going to be so awesome. We've got some amazing comments over here. Hey guys, in the comments section. Hey, Robert. Hey, Jennifer Miles. Hey, Baron Coker. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Sabrina Bourne. We see you. So we're going to bring up another founding member, Natasha Good. Hello, and she's wearing her Bangology shirt. Natasha is also our Bangology events coordinator and one of our moderators. So talk to the people, Natasha.
Oh, happy 1-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been a year. I wanted to be a founding member because I was really kind of curious about it. And now I use the products as well. I really like the gummies. I take them when I can't sleep at night, or if I had a really intense workout and I just need to, relax or unwind. But I enjoy being in the group, learning more things about the industry, especially, from the event side of it as well. It's just been a great experience.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, and I thank you for being a founding member and for helping us with our events and, getting us into this kind of event space and just being here. So if you stick around, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. So guys, when you think about cannabis, you guys may know or may not know that I am in the professional development space. And so I'm a natural teacher, I'm a natural educator. And so when you think about, cannabis, people would oftentimes ask me, why cannabis? And my response was, why not cannabis? There's a lot of crossover if you're thinking about jumping into a field that is cutting edge. There's a lot of crossover between what you do and what you could do in another industry. So the next founding member I'm going to bring up is Dr. Dana Moore. Hey, Dr. Dana, you guys may remember Dr. Dana. She taught us about the endocannabinoid system not too long ago.
Hi, Dr. Tanya and everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm so excited about this week-long summit, right? Excitement is the word of the night, right? I'm excited about the summit. I'm excited that we've reached 1 year, and I'm so happy to have been on this journey with you and all of the other founding members for the past year. It's been amazing.
Yes.
So one of my other professions is, I'm an acupuncturist, and almost similar to Amy, one of my populations I work with is individuals with substance use issues. And so my whole thing is to use cannabis. We've been taught like cannabis is the gateway drug. So I'm from gateway to getaway. I'm thinking CBD can be used as the getaway drug. And so that's where my focus is right now. And I'm so excited about where we're going, where we're heading. Just see great things for Bhangology in the future.
Yes. And congratulations to you. You just got your certification as a medical cannabis educator. So we applaud you in Bhangology. We love it that we're on the same team. Dr. Dana and I met during my early days. We were actually in the same program where when I decided to launch Bhangology, she decided to come along with us. So
come along for the ride, and it's been a good one.
It has been a good ride. So stick around. We'll see you. You guys will see a lot more of Dr. Dana this week. So thanks, Dr. Dana, for stopping by.
Of course.
So guys, we have so much fun in Bhangology. Who knew that we could have so much fun virtually, from our educational events to our cooking with cannabis events to our media events. And so the next person I'm going to bring up, I am so excited that our paths crossed. We just connected. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, but I feel like I've known her forever. And she's an honorary Bhangology member, founding member, but she is awesome. And she's a part of our media team. And I'm going to bring her to the stage now. Tamika Sims. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here, and congratulations on 1 year. We know that's no small feat, so this is just so wonderful. And I was just thinking, I said, I feel like Dr. Tanya and I are girlfriends. It is just unreal how quickly you and I connected. I absolutely love it. And I'm so honored to be a part of your media team, what you're doing. I love the women operating in the cannabis space. Of course, I'm in cannabis media, so it's just a natural connection for us to, be here together. So looking forward to the next 7 days of learning so much, also doing my part to make sure that this message is continuing to being spread abroad. So thank you again for.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us, Tamika. And guys, let me tell you, we have just bonded. We've had so much fun, but we've been learning together. Not only did people ask why cannabis, but people also asked, what do you know about cannabis? Well, to be honest, I didn't know anything, but I learned. And I learned so much in the past year that I amazed myself when I would be interviewed and I talk about what I learned, and people who have been adult use users or recreational users don't know what I know. They just know what it does for them. I'm about the science. I'm about the research. Because when someone comes to me and they ask me a question, I want to be able to answer it and find data for them, help them to make the best answer for themselves. And to that point, I had my first pregnant customer that was sent to me from a midwife. And the interesting thing was the midwife suggested that she try CBD, but she wasn't really knowledgeable about it. And she told her, well, it's just trial and error. Well, that wasn't good enough for me. I felt like here's this mom who is ready to buy some products for me. She needed to know enough in order to make a decision for herself as to what she wanted to use or not use. And so we connected right away with some doctors and nurses who are in this space and found her the right answer. So what I didn't know a year ago, I know a lot now. Haters gonna always hate, but it's okay. It's okay when you got a crew of people that are right there with you to support you. So I see you guys over in the chat. Thank you for being here, DeJarvis, Miss Lavette, and yes. Awesome. So the chat is going by really fast. So without further ado, guys, tonight is cannabis and sexuality. And put your children away, lock them in the room, whatever you need to do, because we're going to have grown folks talk at 7:00 while the sun is still up. So let me tell you about our speaker tonight. So get ready to, get your questions together. You can put them in the chat. Our speaker tonight has spent 17 years in the corporate industry, and it was very unfulfilling for her. How many of you can relate? If you can relate to being in a job that's unfulfilling or a job that you no longer feel passionate about, put me in the chat. And so grateful for her, for the perks from the 9-to-5 career, that it kept her life, kept her in the beige space, or I call it sometimes the gray space. And so one Friday, she was hanging out with some friends, and her sister asked her, 20 years from now, how do you see your life? And that flashed 2 decades of staring at her out of her office window, looking at the weather changed. It scared the crap out of her. And she made a decision that moment and she said, fuck beige, right? Like, who wants beige? Who wants a beige life? Don't you want a life full of color? Well, our speaker tonight said, fuck beige. I'm going after every color out there. How many of you need some color in your life? How many of you want a color? If you want a color, say, I want a color. So in 2018, she came along, cannabis legalization. It was the lightning bolt of her emergency exit this way. And she threw herself into every cannabis course. She is a cannabis sommelier. So, you have wine sommeliers. She is a cannabis sommelier. She knows everything about orgasms, menopause, sex. I mean, pretty much everything about the vagina. We talked about that in the green room. So men, if you're listening, you won't, there's something here for you too. So she is a cannabis educator, and she's created Women, Sex, and Cannabis. And her mission is to get 1 million women orgasming. So without further ado, help me welcome Laura Hamilton to the stage. Hey, Laura.
Oh, hi. What an intro. I'm blushing. Oh, my goodness.
I so enjoyed reading your intro, your bio, your website, all of that when I was preparing for, this week. And I think I sent you a message. I was like, oh my gosh, she is absolutely amazing. So let's talk tonight. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start, because I think we're kindred spirits. Because when I decided I wanted to do this summit, I wanted to push the envelope. That's who I am. I wanted to push. I was like, let's talk about sex and cannabis. Let's talk about Christians and cannabis. Let's talk about all the stuff that people talk about in the closet with the door closed, with no lights on. I want to shine a light on all of it because it's happening. People are experiencing it or not experiencing it. And so I want to talk about it. So, hey, tell us a little bit about, I've shared your colorful bio. Tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now. Like you didn't just wake up and say, hey, I want to be in the cannabis. Like, how did you get here?
Okay, well, it was almost like that actually, because when I was sitting in my office, and it was true that I was looking for something. I was constantly like, beekeeping, woodworking, something. I needed something in my life, and I knew that my career was like paying the rent, but it was really a burden sometimes. And it's like, what am I doing here? And when they announced that they were going to legalize cannabis federally in Canada, I literally got on my phone and typed in cannabis courses Ontario. And I went to the very first I became the first graduating class at Durham College in their cannabis specialization certificate, whatever they were calling it. And I was going to school at night and on the weekends, and I just took the cannabis sommelier course through a company called CannaReps, and I got up close and personal and learned all about the cannabis plant, assessing the quality of it, all of the different smells, the reason why terpenes are important, and terpenes are just as important as something like a cannabinoid. Mm-hmm. I don't know how far along in the educational scale you guys are, but terpenes play just as vital a role as cannabinoids such as THC or CBD. Those work in conjunction, something called the synergistic effect. Okay, yeah. And we as humans need to understand that our endocannabinoid system exists, whether or not you believe it does, or whether or not you ever take cannabis. And the endocannabinoid system is vital for a lot of things, including things like stress management. We can, in fact, eat a diet that is not related to cannabis in any way that will enhance our endocannabinoid system. So it is not, you don't have to stimulate this system that we have biologically with cannabis. So it is if I was to like impart anything, it's like the endocannabinoid system is native to our body and to all mammals, including your pets, including cats and dogs. Right. Okay. So mammals have this system, the end. So if you want to use cannabis, then it will stimulate this, we lock and key, we go together like this. And it's not a question of morality. It is a question of biology.
Wow. Laura, you were in the green room and I was talking about, my pregnant customer, and what we found was in what the nurse told us, actually on Clubhouse, because there's a cannabis room going on in Clubhouse, 24 hours a day. Sure. But what she told us was that, that there's in breast milk, the endocannabinoids are already in breast milk. And then when we went and we found this article that confirmed it, and then I did some more research. So you're absolutely correct. It's in our bodies already. It just needs to be turned on.
Correct. Yes, exactly. My only concern for anyone who is pregnant who is using cannabis is that they don't know the long-term effects of whether or not the cannabinoids go through the placental wall, what kind of long-term effect that has on the fetus. Science doesn't know that. Right. So if anyone is contemplating this, to really do some research.
Do your own research.
And to take this Seriously,
Yeah.
cannabis is an awesome, awesome plant. It can provide relief for so many things, but it is a drug. It is a plant medicine. And as fun as it is, it also has side effects that we need to be adult about and have adult conversations. There's something like the Hypermises Syndrome, which usually only comes into play with people who are doing this as medical patients for really particular chronic, horrible pain. There is something called hyperemesis, and I don't want to scare anyone, but I just want them to know that as a cannabis educator, I have to tell you all about the bliss, but also there's going to be a smack at the end.
Right.
And for you to really be aware that that smack is going to hurt.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's going to affect you. Like, this is something that is just kind of coming into play now. And it's coming into play because we've had several years of medical cannabis use. So we are seeing an increase in hyperemesis and the medical community. The only thing that they can do basically is to say, go take a hot shower and we'll put you in, and you're in the emergency room, and they can do very little for you other than hydrate you.
Wow.
So to have people be aware of this and kind of go, there is a way for you to deal with this at home before it becomes an emergency.
And what's that word again? Hypermesis?
Hypermises syndrome.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody will put it in the chat. We'll somebody.
I'll put it in the chat.
They'll put it in the chat.
Send you a link because I think that it's important for people to be aware of this.
Absolutely.
Even though that this is by no means at all a common occurrence.
Yeah.
That we should all know the worst case scenarios, right?
It's about education, right? And so even though tonight it's all about education. It's all about education. I think the more education we have, the more education we have, the less ignorant we are. The more education we have, the better choices we can make individually, because they're individual choices. And so so the young woman, she came to get a CBD cream, but her midwife told her, well, I guess you can take some gummies or the drops. But she wasn't sure. She had not done her research. So, I was like, well, we're not going to trial and error here. But so that's why we're doing this, to make sure that people have, that they have the right information that they need. So let's jump on over into something that we do know works. So you left your job. I already got questions over here in the chat, girl. So you left your job. You decided to get educated. Cannabis sommelier. I love that. What was next for you?
Well, in part of my, as I was taking more, like I've taken several cannabis related, including one that was more geared toward medical practitioner, even though I am not one.
Yeah.
But basically taking a course so that I want to know how doctors talk to each other about cannabis and what they're looking for. So when I realized through a course of me like trying to catch up with what they were talking about, I came across many articles talking about the CB1 receptors that are located in the vaginal canal and in the female's sexual organs. This is obviously a plant that was made for the ladies.
Oh. Okay.
And not only does it help with the manufacturing of natural secretions. Okay. It helps with pain. For example, when you are going through menopause and your vaginal wall is thinning out, penetrational sex is often painful. So, that is not pain. It's not generally what I top priority of getting busy.
Right.
It's lingerie and other stuff, champagne maybe.
Right.
It is not, gee, I can hardly wait for you to make me feel pain. Yay.
Yeah. No one wants to feel pain.
No. So
unless that's what they're going for. Like,
yes, that's a different set of circumstances. So, you know, no judgments, no judgments.
Right, no judgments.
For people who are seeking like something more sensual, in that respect, cannabis can be a real game changer for a lot of women, especially topically. So I'm not talking about necessarily, you know, smoke. In fact, smoking is good too because it stimulates our brain centers, and women orgasm differently from men. It is like a series of steps in order for a woman to finally orgasm. And if only 62% of straight women with their male partners orgasm, and I say that is probably highly, you know, it's a high number to compare to. They probably lied on the forum just to make themselves feel better. But only 62% orgasm in a sexual setting. And that's really sad news because men orgasm 85% of the time.
Wow.
So there's a deficit here. And I really think that women, I think after 35, get very uncomfortable talking about their sexual performance and their sexual libido because women are burdened with so many other emotional impacts of their lives that taking time to consider whether or not that they're orgasming enough, it makes them feel shame and self-indulgent, going, why am I worrying about my vagina when I should be worrying about the kids' homework and how we're going to pay the bills and what's wrong with the car? And that sort of burden makes it very challenging for women to talk about it to a medical person, talk about it to even their close friends. And in the course of my studies, I realized that cannabis could really help with a lot of women, especially going through menopause and perimenopause, when you've got side effects like hot flashes, a dryness of your vagina, low libido, or just falling off a cliff libido, where, you know, it's just like you just couldn't be bothered.
Right.
Well, and I think that is, women are shortchanging themselves. We all deserve a fulfilling and acrobatic intimate life.
I love it. You know, we already have some questions in the chat. Someone says postmenopausal, married 25 years and no libido. Ideas and help with sleep. Ideas.
Sure. I got plenty. But you know what? You need a journal, because unfortunately the endocannabinoid system is so individual, and how cannabis interacts with it is so individual.
Yes.
Anyone who says that they can guarantee you something from cannabis is a liar. Okay. Until you try it, I'm not going to know. But what I can suggest are certain strains that I know have worked for me that I can use as a topical. Like if you're worried about, like, what if I smoke this pre-rolled joint and I have an anxiety attack? That's not exactly date night when I'm on the floor going, oh, I'm too fat and I hate myself.
Right.
So I really think that it's important for you to get a sparkly book of wisdom. See, this is my book, and I journal. Like, okay, I took this thing and I put it here, and then I did this, and then he did that, and then, you know, it was a success, or it wasn't so good. All that stuff, right?
You know, Laura, one of the things that we talk about is you're absolutely correct. You know, I can't guarantee anything with any products. I don't think anyone can. So how I use our Bhangology products and how they work for me may be totally different for how they work for some of our customers and some of our members. And so that's probably the first takeaway, is that, you know, products are very individualized. And then in our founding members portal, we have a log where document how you're using it. We actually have a checklist on how to talk to your doctor about cannabis.
Perfect.
Because
so good.
So many people are, just the stigma around it. And I can remember when I taken the bad oil and I, had to see my doctor, and I was like, oh my gosh, should I tell him I, got this oil from online? And we actually ended up having a really good conversation. He was pro CBD, pro cannabis, and we just kind of talked about, that's where I first learned that, all oil is not created the same. And, but whenever you use any type of product or salve or whatever, you need to document it so that you can come up with how it works for you. So I want to steer you. I've got a couple of little things written down. So when it comes to, I don't even know which one I want to go with first, cannabis and libido.
Right.
Cannabis and libido. What are the things that you hear the most that people complain about? And then what are your 3 suggestions?
Okay. What I hear most about is they have no libido, and generally they have no libido because of some other side effect that is also impacting their libido, like hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel sexy. I feel like I'm a sweaty hot mess, and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm,
And it's like, get off of me. Like having that sort of secondary thing, or like the facial hair. Trust me, I got like, I could braid my chin hairs if I let them grow out. So, it really does a woman harm, really, to get to that point. Now, for me, I like having a bit of THC, and I like being a bit high. And I think that we should stop saying, oh my God, she's a bit high, as if I'm like all of a sudden selling myself on the street corner for like $5 or something. Right. It is not like that. It is no different to me than having some wine and, or champagne and getting the giggles and just kind of like, hey, you seem a bit tasty right now. Why don't you come over and sit on my lap?
Right.
So, and I think that women should be open to that sort of thing and just go, you know what, I'm going to take some of this, or I'm going to use some lube, and that has lots of tingling effects, and there are cannabis lubes out there.
I was going to say, talk about it. Talk about the lube, because someone put in the chat, vaginal. What about vaginal dryness? So,
yeah, vaginal dryness. There are lubes out there that are. You guys are all mostly in the United States, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, okay. There are several brands. I hear lots of great things about Fioria. They have a line of lubes and sexual stimulating oils. I can't vouch for them because they don't ship to Canada. But we do have something here. We have several lines of stuff because we have a head start, right? We've been legal for now 4 years.
Wow.
So there are lots of things that I can order and have delivered directly to my house that are THC and CBD infused personal lubrication products.
So without like, I guess, product naming.
Right.
Let's talk about the cannabis infused lube and how that works, and should women feel comfortable with using it? What are some of the because we're very sensitive about our cookie jars. Like, we don't want to put anything in there that's gonna like mess it up. So we're talking about, oh, okay, I'm gonna make my vajayjay happy with a little cannabis infused lube. So talk about that. What would they experience?
Well, if you want to do something that is all natural, there are ways to infuse an oil that you would be comfortable with for example, a coconut oil or an olive oil that you can infuse at home with dried flower and have it as your special toss my salad oil.
Look at you just dropping the nuggets. I see y'all down there in the audience. I see you. Look at you dropping the drop. Okay, Laura. All right. So make your own lube, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you can do it cheaply. I can show you right now, like as part of my workshops, I show people how to do it with a mason jar.
Okay.
Right? You bake this in the oven like this.
Yep, we learned about that one in our Cooking with Cannabis class.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I use olive oil, and you can apply that to your vagina, to the vulva area. It's not going to alter the pH. I wouldn't necessarily use it as a suppository unless you're comfortable with the olive oil that you're using.
Okay.
And you can use this on your skin and it absorbs into your skin and there's lots of tingly action. It's fun. Plus you get lots of volunteers when you're like, hey, what are you cooking in the kitchen? I'm cooking up orgasms. Do you want to come over?
The party has just started, guys.
Yeah, you get a lot of volunteers that way. Hey,
Yeah.
that's what I'm cooking.
Yeah. Wow. So someone says, is the lube just for my pleasure or his as well?
It should always be about your pleasure. The one thing about a topical, something like that, such as olive oil, it absorbs into your skin really quickly. This is not going to make you lubricated from the oil, but from your own natural production of it. If you are looking, I wouldn't call it a lube. I would call it an enhancement as opposed to a lube. If you still are not lubricated sufficiently, then I would also suggest that you use a non-silicone based lube.
Yeah. Because
that will not interact with the olive oil because you want to make sure that there's no kind of conflict there. But yeah, I would say that I would put the olive oil on first for about 20 minutes and then, see what happens in that 20 minutes that could produce some natural lubrication. Gentlemen, foreplay.
No microwave. Minutes. This is straight oven action right here. Right?
Yeah. So get busy, get the hands busy, get the mouth, get busy, do some fiddling. And and then if there is insufficient, fingers crossed. And then perhaps an extra little boost of confidence is not going to do you any harm if you have other lubrications that you like using.
I think there are going to be some people trying this out, and I think we're going to need to probably have a part 2 to this. So we have another question. We got the questions are coming in. So we have a question from Girl Talk Live. What's the percentage of women that orgasm in lesbian relationships?
High. Like okay. 80, I think it's like 82 or 85%. Lesbians having a great time. The hetero women are getting the short end of the stick, if you know what I mean. And it's like when I was reading these stats, I was like, ladies, it is time for me to come in and kind of go, straight girls, come here. I got something to talk to you about.
Ooh.
And it's like, stop, holding out or thinking that it's okay that you don't have an orgasm. It's not okay.
Right.
Because in the end, after 10 years of not having an orgasm and then the pizza delivery boy gives you a wink, you're like on him like a cat. Right? So it'll come out. If you don't think that it's not affecting you, you're wrong. And on top of that, if you're not sexually fulfilled, how sexually fulfilled do you think your man is? And sexually fulfilled people perform better at their jobs.
Did you guys hear that?
Know in our offices who's unhappy at home, don't you know?
Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know?
So if you are trying to, I really want to do better in the job that I've got, and I want that promotion, where that starts? It starts in your bedroom. And it's about time that we're like, I'm going for that career, goal. And you know what? Go for it. And even if you don't get it, girl, you've been having a lot of sex and orgasms. So
and feeling pretty good.
I guess I didn't get that promotion, but guess what I'm getting tonight? I'm going to be the air, and I'm going to be howling like a wolf.
Laura, you are a trip. So we talked about cannabis and libido. We talked about how to create our own vajayjay stimulants with some additional lube, if we silicone or water-based lube if we need to, not crossing the olive oil with the lube. So we talked about, so tell me this. If someone says, I only want to use CBD, and I have to do a lot of education that when we talk about cannabis, there are over 140, 180 different connect. It's more than just CBD and THC in that leaf. That leaf is full of like juicy medicine, right? Yes. So as a sommelier, some of the same strains and terpenes that are available on the THC side are also available on the CBD side. So what we've been talking about with cannabis and libido, or, could women, or I don't know, some men may decide, hey, I want to make that little concoction for my ladybird. So could CBD flower be used?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, don't give me roses. Give me some of that, skunk over there. Nice, Yeah, exactly. OG Kush. All right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think that if I was to steer somebody who wants to say worry about the terpenes and focus on the terpenes along with the cannabinoids, if you're looking for something like a stimulant, I would look for something like a pinene or something that's more citrusy noted, like
Dosido,
limonene, that sort of thing. Something that is going to be stimulating.
Okay.
If you were looking for something, say, because you are dealing with pain issues, I would look for something like a myrcene, which is quite common. It smells a bit like mango. So anything that says mango is mango notes, that there's a possibility that this is going to be providing you with pain relief. So depending on what kind of, when you think about it, when you walk in a pine forest, you don't feel tired, you feel like awake.
Right? Exactly.
So pine, awake. The same with something that smells like citrus fruit. Citrus is awake, something that smells maybe more like lavender, like we all use lavender oil to make us calm. So something that smells more floral, something that smells more like maybe a rosemary or a lavender flower, chances are this is going to be having more of a sedative effect. So terpenes matter.
Terpenes matter.
They really do. And part of the smell of the terpene is that it literally wakes up your brain, and your brain's like, oh, I totally know what's coming in that door. I can hardly wait. This is going to be so good. So just the smell already sparks synapses in our brains, because we know what's coming. And even that action of smelling your cannabis also has a really good effect. So who knew? That's why terpenes are important.
Terpenes are important. So we've talked about strains, we've talked about libido, we've talked about how to get that promotion on the job at your own house, not someone else's.
Yes.
Let's talk about menopause.
Okay.
Cannabis in menopause, perimenopause, menopause, hot flashes. I see you talk about that on your website. And so for because our focus in Bhangology is, women who are 40 and over who experience pain, sleep, and anxiety issues. We probably need to add and menopause to that as well. Mm-hmm. How does cannabis work with that from your experience, from your knowledge? Sure. Because all of that plays into sexuality as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely. It has to do with our brain chemistry and why this will help us with symptoms from menopause. And for example, hot flashes. We have a gland in our brain called the hypothalamus, and this regulates body temperature. And when you are going through perimenopause and menopause, you are dealing with a lot of body temperature fluctuations. And by using cannabis and stimulating the hypothalamus, this can help lessen the extremes of your hot flashes. Okay, so I'm sorry. You know what? Whenever I'm on camera, my nose itches. Like, if there's a therapist out there that's going to help me with my itchy nose, I got to talk to them. I got to itch my nose. I swear to God.
So Alar's itching her nose.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. But it was almost to the point where I was going to start to cry.
Well, it was because we started talking about menopause, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. I just, in case people are wondering, it's like, is she on coke or something? No. I'm telling you, my nose gets so itchy when I'm on camera. Dr. Freud, hi. Hey,
I don't know if you guys have a lot of pollen out there in Canada, but it's pollen season. I'm in Georgia, and we've got folks listening and watching from all over. So we're always, sneezing, coughing, snorting.
Yeah. Okay.
Snot. And so
okay, good. Okay. But anyway, back to menopause. Speaking of itch, there are a lot of benefits that cannabinoids and terpenes can help with relief of menopausal symptoms. Okay, so things like hot flashes, things like mood swings, because you are going through an incredible roller coaster of hormones and stuff like brain fog. Okay, like all of these things impact us, and it is impacting our brain chemistry. And what cannabis can do is help support that. So you can have, somebody who is going through a lot of anxiety because they are going through menopause or whatever other issues that they have going on. Something with like a heavy CBD content and something like a myrcene and a linalool, which is the lavender cannabinoid. This can really help. Now, there are some people that I can't stand the cheesy end of the spectrum. I just can't stand it. I know that there are a lot of people, including women, who are like, oh yeah, I can hardly wait to get those cheesy, ugh. But it really helps. So this is why.
So Laura, when you say the cheesy what?
The cheesy strains, the cultivars I swear they smell like cheese. It smells like Parmesan cheese because that's what the terpene is. And I cannot stand those strains. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But this is why it's all individual. There are some people that swear by them and say, oh, the cheesier it is, I can hardly wait. To me, it is just a personal thing. If you like the smell of that, then you should use it. Because I really think that our brain is like triggering us to kind of go, hey, I think I like that smell. And you got to listen to your body when it's like, okay, this is going to be our strain for now. Hooray.
And especially if it works, get you some cheesy weed and some Cheetos and have a good time. And
as a novice user, the thing that you must always remember is go low in concentration of cannabinoids and slow. Okay. If you are doing an edible, for example, and you eat that one square and go, this isn't doing anything, I think I'm going to eat all of it, then you're going to feel sick, and then you're going to probably end up in the emergency room going, oh my God, I think I'm having an anxiety attack, I'm having a heart attack.
They're going to hate themselves.
No, you've OD'd on cannabis, lie down, and in a quiet room and listen to some very soft jazz or the rain or something, and it'll be all over in about 12 hours. And that is exactly what they're going to do to you in the hospital too, except for you Americans, you are going to have to pay through the nose for that lesson.
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Low and slow. And that's why you keep the sparkly book of wisdom and kind of go, oh, okay. So not 1 square, but 2.5 squares. And know that you're a better consumer. And you're going to be a better lover too, because like, I don't want to like, wow, you puked in that bucket really nice.
Nothing for you. Yeah.
So,
Laura, this has been amazing. Guys, if you have questions, if you've got specific questions, I'm going to go back through the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Please put your questions in the chat. Now's the time to ask your questions. You know, we've talked about so much. We talked about, I mean, you know, I think some folks are probably running out to get some extra olive oil today. You know, we've talked about
coconut oil works too. If you want to use coconut oil instead, because I know that some people, you know, may not like necessarily the smell of olive oil, but
I think someone actually asked that in the chat.
Yeah.
So coconut oil will work.
Yep.
And let's see. Okay, we talked about that. Hey, Rose Fauntleroy. Any other any questions, guys? This is good. Yeah, can you use coconut oil as well? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. The Canna Mom Show is here. Thanks for being here. So let's see. I had some questions. Let's see if I've got some people say, "Oh, we love her. She is hilarious. Great talk. This is just what I needed." Woo!
And just to let you know, like I know that there are a great deal of women, including women from conservative and religious backgrounds, that have reached out to me because they want to have these conversations. Yes. And I've been really surprised by the groups that have approached me for a workshop, just because I'm like, really? You know, I'm going to be talking about like vaginas, right? And yes, that's what they want. They want that education. They want that knowledge. Just because they are Muslim or Orthodox Christian, they want a way for them to have an enhanced sex life with a person that they're comfortable talking to. I'm not judging how you spiritually practice. I'm worried about your sensual practice, so to speak, right? And I think that it's important that these things lead to an enhanced intimate life. And that's what I'm here for. 1 million women orgasming. Come on.
I think we all need to be on top of that.
Anyone needs a team, and it might as well be orgasm.
I mean, of all the things, why not an orgasm, right? So exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned that. You know, I think you're right. You said this earlier. I think as women get more mature, that they don't talk about those issues around sensuality and sexuality and things that they can utilize to enhance it that are natural without, you know, going the hormone route. And so I think this is a great discussion the beginning of the discussion, because I keep getting from the peanut gallery, I keep getting part two. So someone says, I would love the part 2 with the coconut oil. So I definitely see us having more of these conversations with you, Laura. What we do in our membership is we bring in special guests for our members. So, you know, guys, if you're listening, you're wondering, you know, well, why do members get to have all the fun? You know, we have events like this, but we also have events for our members where we can do some really cool things. I think it was last month we did a cooking with cannabis, and that was a lot of fun. And so, you know, it's like hey, we need to talk about these things, and women need a place where they feel safe to talk about their use of cannabis, whether it's THC, CBD, CBN, CBG, Delta 8. I mean, there's so many things. And so, really educating yourself on there's more than just CBD and THC and what's going to be the cocktail for you as that individual. What may work for me or what I may not want to use may work brilliantly for someone else. So let's see, we want to know how to make the enhancement oils. Sabrina, I know you do. I know that is a lot of sex. So yeah, they're really digging this topic, Laura. Really digging this topic.
Good.
So
Good.
I
have homework for them.
Well, because my question was going to be, what are some takeaways, as women who are exploring cannabis. I'm new to the industry. I'm 1 year old in this cannabis industry, right? And so so for someone who is new to exploring cannabis, or who's looking at how to, what I know you said go low and slow, but what other advice would you have before you give the homework?
Okay. I would, if for someone who is really, really new to this, the easiest thing to do is the topical. Okay. Topicals are not going to get you high.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you imagine if we could all get high from Lube? Like,
be some better workplaces.
An interesting ride to work on. It's like, yeah, go ahead, go over those bumps. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to get you high. So topicals are a good starting point.
Yeah.
For people who do not want to don't want to smoke, there are capsules, there are oil drops, okay, that you would just put a drop in a little cup of water or tea or whatever. That can be an option. It is not Cheech and Chong, okay? I'm not saying that you have to smoke something the size of my arm. No, this is entirely like what you are comfortable with. There is a product for you.
And I think a lot of people, because of the stigma, I think a lot of people think it is Cheech and Chong. It is, what we've been told for so long about cannabis. They're very, the stigma. They've got to fight that stigma.
And let me be the voice of the future, because my mother is 86 years old, and this is her cannabis journey. She goes to the clinic. She sees a cannabis doctor. The cannabis doctor then faxes the licensed producer. My mother then goes home, orders what she likes. What she wants, the capsules. If she wants to smoke, although she doesn't want to smoke, she takes capsules and drops at night if she wants, and it is delivered to her home. The end. And on top of that, if she has any sort of arthritic pain or whatever, she's putting a topical on it.
Absolutely.
And all of the old ladies in her, I shouldn't say old ladies, all of her contemporaries in her gardening club, for example, talk about all of this wonderful CBD cream that they're putting on their various joints and finding relief. So in terms of the stigma, once you get into the legal, as soon as you get the ladies putting it on their hands going, oh, my hands feel great, stigma goes away really fast. And I really don't think that, even though we're battling it still here in Canada, the really horrible kind of, ooh, how can you do that, has pretty much evaporated.
Wow. We still have some work to do here in the US. And I'm hoping that, by the time this summit is over, we will have done some education with some folks that are still saying, ooh, because I think it's really about the education. I was one of those people. I ran substance abuse programs. I followed the script that I was given, but then when I started, because of my own sciatica pain in struggles. And I said, people kept saying, try the oil with no education. And I decided, hey, let me do my own education. Let me start digging. The information that was out there. I was like, if I feel this way, then I know there are other people that would love this information so that they can find the relief that they need. Dr. Michelle Clay says, I'm ready for my homework. It's coming, Dr. Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Girl Talk Live says, I think that's supposed to be, I don't know if that's milk, drink some something, or take some CBD level out. I think that was about our conversation earlier. So, so many opportunities here. I know we're going to have a part 2 to this. So, Laura,
I'm available.
Tell us, let me tell you, I think we just need to come to Canada because, I see you do workshops and everything on your website. And so, guys, please visit womensexandcannabis.com. Her website is the bomb. And so I know you've got Sisters on the Sofa, the virtual edition, the road trip edition, so many really cool things. So if you please stay connected with Laura, visit her website.
I'm on Instagram too. I'm at laurahamilton.cancan.
She's everywhere. So what is our homework, lady? What is our homework?
1, have that cannabis conversation with your lover.
Okay.
And say, I would like us to talk about cannabis topicals. And I would like you to apply it.
Okay. Interesting.
Then tell me all about it.
Hey, you didn't bring Lola out.
Oh, okay. So
you didn't bring Lola out. Tell them about
quick.
Lola. Tell them about Lola first.
Okay. So part of my workshop with Sisters on the Sofa, I would have people, women only so far. And it was really difficult for me to get them to open up. So, because I always felt like I was talking about my sexual experiences, and I'm like, you guys need to bring it to me so I can help you. I know what my vagina is like. Like, I already know it's fine. Like, it's like, I want you to have the fun, like me.
Right. Because if you're making application oils over there, I know
exactly.
She's happy.
Listen, after I quit my job, I spent 3 months experimenting with olive oil and cannabis flower. And you wonder why my shoulder hurts. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did find that women were not opening up in ways that I thought they'd be open to. It's like, yeah, we're going to talk about this. It's going to be great. Now, and then I thought, okay, what do I need? And I needed a way for women to feel like this is a funny, crazy space. So I developed an educational tool in the name of Lola, who is a puppet, and she and I, whoop, whoop, whop, whop, we talk about how cannabis can be applied, where, and how, and it's so weird.
Yeah, bring her over just a little bit more. Yeah, there she is.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And this is Lola. And she and I talk about, where am I?
Right there.
So funny. The camera's in a weird spot. Anyway, so she is my personal assistant. And we talk about how cannabis can be applied to her, and because I think that women are woefully unaware of how their body works and what parts are what parts, and comfortable even talking about it. So as soon as I brought her out, women are like, oh my God, that's so hilarious. That's a big thing. And then they kind of relaxed because, me and Lola would do a little routine, and then ta-da, 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 women were more comfortable talking.
Right.
And I
Right.
use that to make people comfortable and to let them know that this is a fun space. This is not your doctor's office, and it's not a church, and I'm not going to tell
It's
like
a judgment-free
you.
zone.
It's like, this is about you and your body parts
Yeah.
that should be well tuned. And why not? You know, I think that it's important for your personal life, for your family's personal life, to have a fulfilling sex life. Everyone deserves that. Everyone.
Everyone.
We're going to solve the world's problems through orgasms.
One orgasm at a time.
Or several.
I love it. I love it.
Why
I
limit
love
yourself to just
Why
one?
limit yourself, right? Why? Wow. So, all right, guys, this is your last chance to put those questions in the chat while we've got Laura here. Laura, this has been absolutely amazing. So I'm trying to think, so we've talked about libido. I'm trying to think if we've missed anything. We've talked about strains. We've talked about how you can use, everything that's on the THC side is also on the CBD side. Terpenes matter. So don't just, don't go into it like a guy. Smell it. If you're in a state where there's dispensaries, smell it, get familiar with it. I know our members in the back end, there's like a whole dictionary of terpenes, of the different terpenes. So learn about it, find out what you. Someone says, I like that puppet. they like your puppet. I got comments on both sides of me. So we talked about the strains. We've talked about what we need to do for menopause. We talked about how to make that stimulant for the labia. So I think we've covered it. Let's see. Dr. Michelle says the world would be a better place if every adult had multiple orgasms per day. Absolutely. You and Dr. Michelle need to meet because she makes this tea. Yeah, y'all need to meet. Y'all need to talk.
I'm available. Hit me up. I'm on Instagram or through my website. I am available anytime.
Sabrina Bourne says, thank you so much for sharing this information. I have learned a lot. Rose Fauntleroy says, what the what? I think that was when you had Lola out. So this has been absolutely amazing. I hope you come back and join us. I hope you hang out with us the rest of the week. And this has been great. So I'm gonna wrap us up. So I'm gonna put you down and then send you back to the green room, and you just hang out there for a minute. And I'm gonna share some information with everybody. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, wasn't Laura amazing? Wasn't she amazing? So I hope that you learned something tonight in this talk on Bhangology and on sexuality and cannabis. And if you go back and you're watching the replay, put replay in the chat. I hope that you are all registered and that you have entered the sweepstakes. So we're going to be giving away some amazing giveaways during this challenge, right? So, but in order to enter the sweepstakes, you've got to be registered. So it's not enough that you're showing up and you're watching, but you've got to be registered so that you can enter the sweepstakes. So if you're not registered officially, go to bit.ly Bhangology Summit, and so you can enter into the sweepstakes. And so we just got this awesome CBD coffee. Somebody's going to win this CBD coffee. If you are a coffee drinker, you could win this 6 K-Cup pods of coffee, vanilla, caramel, CBD coffee. Talk about have a little joy in your life. So this is just one of the giveaways that we're going to be giving away toward the end. And then you will also have an opportunity to win our baby bang box, which is what I call it. So, we've got our bang box that has everything in it, all of our Bhangology products. But in the very end, the last giveaway of the evening will be the Bang Box Junior. So make sure that you're registered. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight was awesome and amazing. I hope you join us tomorrow night for 420, where we will be hanging out with Taz from Smoking Legal. So if you aren't familiar with him, check him out on YouTube. He is a hoot, and we are going to have a ball. So have a great evening. We will see you tomorrow night, same time. And thanks for coming out to celebrate with us. Until next time.